Rick Barnes, welcome to the Seth Davis Show.
Good to be here with you.
Good to see you.
See you.
You had a couple of different stops in your career that we've been able to have these conversations, but back with Texas Longhorns again. The 2013-14 season is getting underway. Give me a scouting report on the Longhorns and what we can expect. State of the state, if you will.
Well, you know, we knew at the end of last year we had to make some changes in our program, and really within 2 days we kind of said this is the way it's going to be. We've got to get back to what we had really built the program on, and that's a group of guys that, one, cared a great deal about each other, a group of guys that wanted to play for the right things, and we had guys leave, and we also had a group of guys that decided to stay and buy into what we want to get done, and they've been great. And had a great spring, great summer. We're excited from the beginning about our freshman class that we have coming in, and they haven't disappointed us. They've gotten the kind of leadership that they needed from the group that was there before. I don't want to say older because we've only got one junior in John Holmes, but the fact is I'm happier because I think I've got a group of guys that know what we're looking for as a staff. We're buying into what we have talked about, and so we're looking forward to it.
Last year was your first year at Texas that you didn't make the NCAA tournament, which is, I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to get into that thing. That it's not a given that even the best programs to be there year after year. You've done that for so long. How difficult was that for you, and was it the losing that was the hardest, or was it what you were talking about, that inability to sort of get them to play the way that you want them to play? Because I've always sensed about you, Rick, that if you guys are playing the way you want them to play, then you don't like losing, but you can accept losing in a way that if that's not the case.
And you're right, it was the inability to get them to understand what I think goes into winning, and that's the hardest part. Again, if your guys are trying to do what you ask them to do and you come up short, you can live with that even though you don't like it, you live with it. But we never became the team that I thought that we needed to become, and it's simply because we weren't a team. We guys not buying roles, not knowing from one game, one day to the next. It gets to a point where you can't continue to talk about effort, and not just physical effort, but mental effort. And that part, and it was disappointing because we'd had a long run of going to the tournament, and you're right, you don't ever take it for granted. And when you come up short, it hurts, it bothers you, and you want to fix it. And I'm the kind of person, I'm pretty impulsive, that I told him actually 6 weeks before the season was over that we had to get this thing turned around. If not, I would make the necessary changes, and I would take the responsibility for it, and because it's under my watch. And so literally a day, 2 days after the season, we knew who was going to be back and who wouldn't be, and we've never looked back.
And it's interesting because I was in Austin at the start of the football season talking to Mac Brown, and obviously coaching football at Texas is a whole different animal, but just being at a place like Texas is a very big stage with lots of expectations, and he was coming into a season when a lot of people were speculating about his job status, and if this thing didn't turn around, maybe he's not going to survive. And I think you're facing a lot of that same sort of chatter around you as the season begins. And guys always say, well, I don't pay attention to that, and my own expectations are always higher than anyone else's. But I mean, you see the world around you. I'm sure that you hear it, and I think in fact, I know it's the first time you've probably ever faced that kind of conversation going on around you. Is it an unsettling experience, or are you able to completely tune everything out?
I think that I was very fortunate to be a young head coach and going into a situation at Providence and having a chance to spend a great deal of time with Dave Gavitt. And I think my third year into coaching, we weren't doing as well as, and as you know, there's some expectations at Providence, and things were being written for the first time, things that I'd never thought could ever imagine. And I remember having lunch with him one day, and he said, if you're going to read newspapers, and you need to understand something, that you're never going to be happy in this business. be very honest with you, I think being a head coach 26, 27 years, whatever it is, it really doesn't bother me because I've seen things change. I think people forget when I first came to Texas, I think we were 2-8, something to start with, and it is what it is. I mean, we know the media and all that has changed, and I've always respected the media. I think that your job means as much to you as my job does to me, and I have to believe at some point in time you feel pressure, if it's not from the outside, from yourself, knowing that I got to do this job because there's a lot of people like to sit where you're sitting. I realize the same thing in my position, that I've been extremely blessed and have worked for wonderful people, and I understand the business, I think, as well as anybody. But it doesn't affect me because I can't. When I got into this business, Seth, I never thought I would end up. I certainly didn't get into it for the money, and I think people in my generation, I don't think they did. And now we've all would have to say we're a lot better off than when we started. But
now there's a lot of money. Is it still as fun to be a coach? And are you still? I mean, you've always been this hard-charging guy. You know, you took on the big boys, a physical style of play. I mean, you've been the proverbial bull in the china shop. Have you mellowed with age? Is it less fun to be a coach? Give me the perspective of Rick Barnes now versus that guy at Providence who was trying to establish himself.
Well, you know, again, I've had a chance to work for some great athletic directors, and I've actually have worked for the best for the last 16 years. And like every year we met, and he actually said to me, he said, look, I only have one concern. He said, are you happy? And he said, I don't think you were very happy this year. I said, I wasn't happy, and I'm not going to be happy unless I can change this to what I know, what I think goes into winning, what I think goes into, one, being around guys you enjoy being around. And I said, everything that's happened here has been under my watch, good or bad, but I do love coaching. I could stay on the basketball court all day long. I love it. A lot of things have changed in the business through the years, obviously, but
what happens on the court is really a fraction of what you have to
yes.
deal with as a coach.
And
now.
so, am I happy? I'm happy because I think I got a staff with me. I got a group of players I enjoy, and I will tell you that's when I would quit if I ever got where I wasn't happy and looking forward to being able to go do my job. I would know it would be time to say it's time.